is what you're looking for, then you should come over at 8 p.m. EST. Don't miss out. I better see you there. Remember to hydrate, chat. Ooh. There's just something so good about fresh water. I mean, fresh blood is completely different, but there's just something different about like a nice ice-cold glass of water. Like you can feel it just lubricating your organs. It's really nice. Make sure to drink lots of water so you can cherish that feeling of lubricating your organs. Hi there, I'm Grim, the custodian of the library Paradoxica, and here's why you should come to my stream. If you are stressed, struggling to sleep, or just bored, I am here for you. I bring ASMR, spooky stories, and chill vibes, and a little bit of spice. If that is what you're looking for, then you should come over at 8 p.m. EST. Don't miss out. I better see you there. Remember to hydrate, chat. Ooh. There's just something so good about fresh water. I mean, fresh blood is completely different, but there's just something different about like a nice ice-cold glass of water. Like you can feel it just lubricating your organs. It's really nice. Make sure to drink lots of water so you can cherish that feeling of lubricating your organs. Hi there, I'm Grim, the custodian of the library Paradoxica, and here's why you should come to my stream. If you are stressed, struggling to sleep, or just bored, I am here for you. I bring ASMR, spooky stories, and chill vibes, and a little bit of spice. If that is what you're looking for, then you should come over at 8 p.m. EST. Don't miss out. I better see you there. Remember to hydrate, chat. Ooh. There's just something so good about fresh water. I mean, fresh blood is completely different, but there's just something different about like a nice ice-cold glass of water. Like you can feel it just lubricating your organs. It's really nice. Make sure to drink lots of water so you can cherish that feeling of lubricating your organs. Hi there, I'm Grim, the custodian of the library Paradoxica, and here's why you should come to my stream. If you are stressed, struggling to sleep, or just bored, I am here for you. I bring ASMR, spooky stories, and chill vibes, and a little bit of spice. If that is what you're looking for, then you should come over at 8 p.m. EST. Don't miss out. I better see you there. Remember to hydrate, chat. Ooh. There's just something so good about fresh water. I mean, fresh blood is completely different, but there's just something different about like a nice ice cold glass of water. Like you can feel it just lubricating your organs. It's really nice. Make sure to drink lots of water so you can cherish that feeling of lubricating your organs. Hi there, I'm Grim, the custodian of the library Paradoxica, and here's why you should come to my stream. If you are stressed, struggling to sleep, or just bored, I am here for you. I bring ASMR, spooky stories, and chill vibes, and a little bit of spice. If that is what you're looking for, then you should come over at 8 p.m. EST. Don't miss out. I better see you there. Remember to hydrate, chat. Ooh. There's just something so good about fresh water. I mean, fresh blood is completely different, but there's just something different about like a nice ice cold glass of water. Like you can feel it just lubricating your organs. It's really nice. Make sure to drink lots of water so you can cherish that feeling of lubricating your organs. Hi there, I'm Grim, the custodian of the library. Hello, my darling dearest undead, or perhaps my readers. How are you guys? Today, we are on a train. I have yet to fix that. I need to fix that. I really need to fix that. Mods, remind me to fix that. Yeah. Definitely, mods, remind me to fix that. Oh my gosh. So lovely to see you. In case this is your first time with me today, my name is Grimoire Index, and I am your comfy cozy librarian vampire VTuber. And today we're riding the train to nowhere, to somewhere, maybe somewhere dark. Maybe somewhere not so comfortable. Basically, today we are reading Train Creepypastas. I hope you're excited, or at least as excited as I am. But first, I need to order a drink. Besides blood. Excuse me. I know you're not dragon, silly. I'm sorry. The card interface is a little wonky sometimes. So, please forgive me. Just a second. Bless the water. Wonderful. Now, now that it is just you and I, how was your week so far? How is everything going for you? Are you doing well? I hope you're doing well. Oh, honestly, this week has been so terrible on me. Well, not entirely. This weekend was my debut, and it has been a magical moment for me. A little overwhelming, but I'm still incredibly happy to be back in the office. I had to take a mandatory break, which is rare. I rarely take breaks, trust me. Even when you think I'm not doing anything, there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. With that being said, I have some stories for you tonight that I hope you'll like. Did that rhyme? Am I rhyming now? Is this the state of affairs? Even right now, I guess I'm resting. Here, let me pull out my teacup. Even right now, I guess I'm resting. It's less of a, it's less of a mandatory rest and more of a, I wanted to take a small sabbatical. And by small sabbatical, I mean, do half of my work in the day, which is rare for me, You would be proud of me. Okay. So, tell me about your week so far. And, before we get started on this first story, Did you have fun at the debut? I know I did. It was really nice to show you my desk. I made sure to clean it up extra nice for you guys. The debt was a lot of fun. The debt? The debut was a blast. Oh, I'm so happy. Debut, debt, not the next keyboard. I was like, the debt? Well, I didn't go into debt. I drew my model myself. I would never forgive myself if I did. I would never forgive myself. Sorry about that. Shall we? Maybe. I want to do maybe about 15 more minutes of just kind of relaxing with one another. There used to be a train station in the library, right? It was a very peculiar instance, but in the past, if you go past the orb, so if you walked all the way through it, and you were able to make it to the other side. About maybe 3 miles down the shelves, the lower shelves, you'd find a train station. Now, the train station also had books, but the books were kind of tailored to the person. So, for example, if I got on that particular train, it would be filled with, I don't know, books about solving mysteries, books about library care, and books about crow maintenance, maybe some tea books. But for you, it might be a little different, right? What would be on your train? I think it was very difficult to get off of it, though. If I had not had the permission that I do, I think it would be quite difficult to leave and come back from such a place. This music is very soothing, and therefore is putting me a little to sleep. I have a soothing candle in the background. It's very nice. When I initially boarded that train, it was like smelling that candle again and letting the world kind of fall away as I sat down and took my seat. The doors closed and a book just kind of drifted over to my hands and I just touched it. Ooh, a relaxing tea room would be lovely. Tea room train would be lovely. I wouldn't want to leave. Neither would I. Like free service train that always was moving, just always moving, and the staff there knew how to make tea. Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. I keep imagining one of those expensive and fancy trains in Japan. Yes! I've always wanted to go on one of, so, I have always had this dream of going on one of those expensive trains where you can lay down and everything is and it has 2 floors. It has to be the one that has 2 floors, and it's well furnished. It looks like a room on a train. You have your own shower or like a bathtub, and you have like a full-size bed, and there's like a couch and all this other stuff, and there's a 2nd floor, and it's gorgeous. Oh, we have to watch that later. If you're around, we can watch it together if you come into our Discord. Wink. Plug wink. But, yeah. I've always wanted to ride one of those. Is my Discord Oh dear. Hold on. No wonder it's not working correctly. Mix It Up isn't on. Silly. Excuse me. There we go. You could come and join us, and, who knows what nonsense we'll be up to. We're probably watching something, like those sleeper trains with the 2 floors, and stuff like that. The only thing I don't think I would like in those trains is, like, the food. I think I guess if you're going to be riding that fancy train, then, you have to have, like, a fancy meal, but I think the juxtaposition of having a beautiful, fancy train and the most vile burger you could ever imagine, like, the ultimate burger ever, the most ultimate burger ever, I think that would be amazing. Instead of something I can't pronounce, just give me a burger. I don't want anything like that. Or an 18th century poet. That's fine too. 18th century. Oh! Or, hear me out, a farmer from an underground civilization. Those are kind of gamey blood-wise, but they're rare because it's an underground civilization. Good stuff. Oh, and he has to be clean too. You gotta, like, scrub the grime off of him. But he's got that organic taste, like, vegan tasting. Vegan blood is also very interesting as well. Do you know that, the more meat and stuff you eat, it changes the taste of your blood? I personally prefer meat eaters' blood, but I know that there are vampires out there that like more plant-based taste. I remember there was an old little girlfriend I had, Wiley Fox thinger. She decided that she was going to court this man, right? He was perfect in every way for her. Perfect in every single way. But he ate meat. And that would not do for her. That was not okay. So, what she devised is she put her brain together, put her brain cells together, and she came up with a plan. And it started small. He started to get nightmares of cows being decapitated. He started seeing chickens, little chickens, on his way to work. And slowly but surely, she kind of altered his brain chemistry through suggestion to the point where he didn't need to eat meat anymore. It was very peculiar, almost a masterclass in hypnotism. And I mean, she could have just, kidnapped him, but she wanted to be ethical about it. She said the ethical blood, makes it taste better. And after she gave me a sample, I kinda have to agree, but I don't want to go through the effort. So I will take my fatty, decadent meat blood. Thank you very much. There's something so wonderful about riding a train together. How do sweets impact blood? Well, good question. This rises your blood sugar, but usually in that same vein, it can make the blood sweeter, depending on how much of it you eat. There was a younger vampire, and I'm not going to say how young, let's say maybe a fledgling, so maybe 300. They were turned when they were very, very young, but they were about 300 years old, and they only liked their particular people to eat candy. So this person was younger, so didn't quite have the same ethics as I did, or as older vampires do. So they kidnapped their particular prey and force-fed them candy until their blood was just as sweet as it. If you eat too much candy, if you feed the target too much candy, obviously they'll die, and then their blood, coagulates, and it's disgusting. So, yeah. But I tried it, and I remember when I had a little toffee when I was a little scamp, I thought it was like having a really sugary soda. She also likes to drink her blood carbonated, which is a choice. It's not a choice that I like, but it is a choice. Your Grim always tries everything at least once for you, and it was not very good. Blood wine is so much better, but, she's young. She doesn't want to have that. She says that's for old fuddy-duddies like me. That's for old fuddy-duddies like you. That's what she says. It's terrible. The other day ago, she called me a hag. It was ridiculous. I said, I am 3 millennia strong, thank you. It's not my fault that you belong in a McDonald's play place all the time. You should have asked your sire to turn you when you were, I don't know, legal drinking age. Don't look at me. Or at least look like you were legal drinking age. Go back to kindergarten. Oh, that's right. It's probably burned down by now. It's not my fault she looks like she needs a Happy Meal. Anyway, I think with that, it's time for our first story. Are you ready? Maybe she's tuned into VTuber lingo, although I find that one a little weird, not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't think she has access to a computer. She's only been turned for the past 200 years. Maybe she's gathered enough capital in that meantime, but who knows? I hide my emotional support Happy Meal. Well, if you need it for emotional support, it's fine. Parental lock. To be fair, the library has a bit of a parental lock on it. Let's go ahead and get our first story in here. Are you guys ready for our first story? I'm ready. Okay. I was 12 years old, spending a fair amount of time at my grandmother's cabin at Pine Grove State Furnace. Pine Grove has always been haunted due to Fuller Lake, a water-filled, old, open iron pit mine. Through the Park Service has gone far as to send divers down the bottom to prove that no one was killed, many people have seen ghostly horses stampeding from the old stables to the lake and into the water, making it glow deep blue before disappearing. My story, as far as I'm aware, has never been duplicated or replicated. It involves an old iron horse that wasn't quite ready to be scrapped. I was walking along the old rail bed that runs from Laurel Lake, a man-made lake slightly larger than Fuller, at dusk in June. I did not fear being alone in the woods after dark. I knew the woods and the mountains as well as the back of my hand, just like my father did before me. It had just turned fully dark when I noticed something peculiar. It was silent. Dead silent. People that were from the woods will tell you that it is almost never completely silent. There's always some critter rustling through the leaves, a cicada or a cricket chirping, a great horned owl hooting in its dominance. The fact that there was nothing unnerved me and made me anxious to get back to the cozy little cabin, so I increased my pace. I was more or less speed walking along this deserted, silent trail. The only sound I heard was my sneakers crunching on the cinders. Tall pine trees on both sides of the trail cast shadows down on me, making it difficult to see. I was just reflecting on how dark it was when I heard the sound that I'll never forget as I live. The long, lonesome wail of a steam whistle. I recognized it from a trip to the Stradisburg Railway when I was younger. Nothing in the woods could replicate that sound. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up as I looked around. The place was empty as a church on Monday. I was in a deserted part of the trail. The nearest cabin was 2 miles away in the opposite direction. I simply told myself that my mind was playing tricks on me and kept walking. I then heard it again, and it was getting closer. A faint light appeared behind me, so faint that it was barely recognizable as a light source. I told myself that it was swamp gas. It's a pretty marshy area around the trail, and that my mind was continuing to pull sound out of nothing to make up for the silence. I kept walking, thinking about fresh biscuits and wild grape jam to take my mind off of things when I noticed the light was slowly growing brighter. I had seen swamp gas lights before. They usually lasted moments and weren't terribly bright. The main thing that told me it wasn't my mind was the ground. It was vibrating. The hairs on the back of my neck stood straight as arrows. Earthquakes weren't unheard of, but it sounded like something heavy pounding into the ground rather than a jarring movement of an earthquake. I was off the trail, crouched down by a thick pine tree, waiting for whatever it was to go by and let me go with my business. I became of a slow snorting sound, making me think of the 80-foot Wendy boys that turned people into cannibals with their touch.
I also realized that the light was growing brighter and the rumbling of the ground was slowing down. It came to a long, sweeping curve at a crawl, slowing to the stop in front of me. It was a Big 6, a 2 by 10 by 2 Baltimore and Ohio operated locomotive, number 6666. It hissed to a stop, its giant driving wheels resting on the bare cinders. It was shrouded in a light blue mist of steam and wore a deep black coat of paint that seemed to suck all available life into it, except for the bright lights of its front spotlight. The steam mist, when it hit me, turned cold. I bit hard on my knuckles, trying to control myself. The two bright lights were in its cab, as if on cue. One hopped down and crouched in the bushes for a moment. I heard the sound of a stressed steel and a clack. An invisible switch had been thrown by the ghost fireman. The blue light then took the opportunity to walk slowly around his 91-foot-long, evil-looking locomotive before casually climbing the ladder into the cab. I then saw the firebox open. I heard such a scream. The kind of scream you'll never want to hear again. The sound of someone being roasted alive. Almost as quickly as it happened, the firebox door shut with a clang. Then a soulfully sad song of the whistle chimed again. Blue Six puffed a cloud of blue smoke. Blue Six puffed a blue cloud of steam up out of its short black smokestack as it quickly rolled across the invisible switch. It took a sharp, almost 90-degree turn, much too sharp for any real locomotive, and puffed away into the woods. The whole encounter probably lasted more than 4 to 5 minutes, but believe me, I had seen more than enough. As did the rest of the trail at a dead sprint, didn't stop until I was at the cabin with the thick wooden door locked behind me. My parents, my grandparents, and my friends have unsuccessfully tried to get this story out of me, but I've never told anyone about it until this day. The story about how I had seen one of the scrap Big 6s that burned people for fuel. And that was Big 6 Ghost Train. Let's see who it's by. There's no... Wasn't that fun? Oh. Oh boy. Whew. I am suffering today. I feel so tired, and I don't know why. Must have been the grave dirt, huh? What I wouldn't give to just fall asleep right next to all of you. Thank you so much for making my debut worth it. Oh boy. I think today, I may have to go early. I'm starting to fade. So it means, maybe, I can get a present ready for you. Would you like that? Oh. Oh. but I just don't want to leave you with one story. I think maybe we should do another. Maybe 2 more. Oh, don't spoil the surprise, you. You already know what it is. Don't spoil... Hold on. Don't spoil the surprise. Anyway. I'm watching you over there. Don't spoil the surprise. Okay. Anyway. It is so nice to be riding a train with you. It looks like there's an ad break too. So I hope you're enjoying this music. There we go. Well, I stretch my back a little. Oof. I've missed you guys. Even though it has been a little bit of time. Just a few days, but I have really missed you. It's just very, very tiring nowadays. We are currently in the middle of an ad break, so after the ad break, I think we can read something else. Sound fun? Maybe fair? Oh wow. Sounds like someone sounds like my drinks are here, so I'll be right back, okay? Oh boy. I'm back with tea. Oh. Oh. I don't know how they managed to mess that up, but wonders never cease with these door zombies. I genuinely have no idea how they keep messing these things up. Here, let me see if I can open this for you guys so you can hear it. My favorite candies recently. Well, I can eat candy, of course. Are these Amos peelers, the peach ones. They're very good. But thank you for welcoming me back. Hopefully everyone has been a-okay. And hopefully, all has been well. Hopefully nothing blew up while I was gone. My tongue keeps coming out. My tongue just occasionally just wait. Can I? No. I guess that's for a different type of stream, right? Test the tracking on that, huh? Oh. Well, I think we should read our next story. Let's see. Oh, this one's very small, but I think it's fine. There is a chance that while on the railway journey across the country, you will pass a darkened station. The platform will look as if it's been deserted for years. Excuse me. The train will have to slow down due to the condition of the tracks, but it will not stop. There are some conductors who will go much faster than they should to get past the station, causing the train to feel as if it will shake apart. If you ask one of the personnel about the train station, they will tell you not to worry about it and to go back to your seat. If you ask a second time, you and all your things will be unceremoniously dumped at the next station, whether it's your destination or not. You can wait as much of a day for another train to come by. There have been a few curious folks who have made the 5-mile walk down alongside the tracks to see this abandoned station for themselves. No one knows what happens when they get there. Some are never seen or heard from again, Others jump onto the tracks into the path of the next oncoming train. The only thing of any interest ever to happen along these tracks was back in the early 1900s, when a train heading west derailed near that abandoned station, killing 61 people aboard and injuring others. The incident was blamed on a conductor error, and the fact that the rails were misaligned due to shifting of the ground after a heavy thunder and a heavy rainstorm. There is no known connection between the derailment of over 100 years ago and the events that surround the area today. The author has not been listed, but thank you. That was The Abandoned Train Station. Wow. How lovely. I feel like it would be a nice place to walk. You just idle on by, take a little 5-mile walk up the road, up the road to a little romantic spot where you'll be lost to the ether forever. How romantic, hmm? Forgive me, I'm gonna have another gummy because they're tasty. I do mention it's a little surreal to see myself chewing. The tracking is too good. The tracking is too good. Like, I could, right? I can put the gummy in between my teeth and you would know. See? See? Isn't that cool? Eh? You made it too well. Stop cooking. You made it too well. I cooked too hard. I girl boss too close to the sun. As for today's tea, we are having some blueberry and white tea. Did that actually happen in that show? You know, I've never seen that show before. Is it good? Is it a good show? I've never seen it. I've heard that it's okay, but it depends on the person, so. Not a real line. It's fantastic, though. Okay, excuse me. Maybe we could do like a, we all watch it. together, if that makes sense. I had a hard time in the beginning, but I enjoyed most of what I did see, okay. And yes, I think I could handle it better with friends. I think it would be fun to watch. But first we're watching Castlevania, because I still haven't seen it yet, and that's an issue for me. I need to see it. Or we could watch more What We Do in the Shadows. I love that show. It makes me smile. Just thinking of all the fun vampire things. Ugh. It's a shame they don't get to eat human food. I would like to actually see the movie. Now I know Crowford told me I'm supposed to peel these with my nails, but I feel like if I do, I destroy their delicate flesh, and I much prefer to just take a bite and, consume the whole thing, as opposed to damaging its flesh like that. There are these peeler gummies. Very good. Oh, speaking of flesh peeling, right? Gerard, one second. Sorry. Speaking of flesh peeling, there was an old friend of mine. Let's call her, let's change the gender. Let's call him Tim. So Tim was a very particular type of vampire. He decided he liked it when his humans were shaken, not stirred. I want someone to have joined at this moment so badly. No. Maybe. Maybe they did. Maybe they joined on YouTube. Hi, YouTube, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Speaking of feeling flesh. Anyway, let me get back to my story. So, Tim had a particular way of wanting his humans, right? Some of us are a little bit more savvy. Maybe they don't really like humans that much, right? Humanoid creatures, we have 3 layers of skin, right? So our 3 layers of skin usually, do a really good job of keeping our blood in, right? But what happens if, say for instance, you are shaken around so viciously that your insides essentially become like a smoothie, like a gore smoothie on the inside, just leaving your skin flaps and, your bones and stuff. That's what he wanted to do. So, he essentially figured out a way to get a human to take this pill that would essentially do that. And it was disgusting, to say the least. It didn't work because, your body, your skin is not made for that. So all of the things that he wanted, if you will, like, we can consume a lot of humans' anatomy. We can just consume a lot if we wanted to. We're not zombies, per se. We get no sustenance out of it. But we can consume it. But yeah, needless to say, it was like eating a it was like eating bad salad out of an unwashed plate. Like, it was so disgusting that I never wanted to try it again. Like, it was, ugh. Like, and I'm not talking like green leaf salad, I'm talking like potato salad. Red, chunky potato salad. And he tried to pass this off as like some sort of blood dinner. It was disgusting. I would rather have cold deer blood than whatever that was ever again. I would rather have creepy gas station attendant again than that. Ugh. And let me tell you, creepy gas station attendant is disgusting. Vile. By the way. Vile. Not to say that all gas station attendants are like this, but just the creepy ones. You know the ones. They taste like cars, debt, gambling, gross. Don't eat them. Bad. A regular kind of like shy gas station attendant, you know, maybe a part-time worker or a full-time worker of the gas station, you know, those are fun because they usually have fear in them. But otherwise, don't go for it. It's not great. Instead, you could go for family man with 3 kids who lives down the road. Or maybe even, if you're feeling a little frisky, the wife. Now, the wife is delicious, usually. Deliciously tasty. She'll have a little bit of vinegar in the blood because she's bitter about all the things that she didn't get to do in life. Usually. But yeah, just don't drink them. Usually I would also avoid anyone that's in retail, honestly. They already have enough on their plate. It's best not to release them from this earthly torment until they've, discovered, they've, gotten their way, had their fun, Let us find something else to read. Ooh, this one's about a bus. Do you guys want to hear about a bus? I think we're in a train though. Let's do They Move Through the Trains. Oh, it looks like one of our mods can't make it today. That is completely fair. They move through the trains. Interesting. I hate living in London. Now, anyone born and raised here could offer you a whole catalog of reasons As to why, that's a perfectly valid statement. Traffic congestion, air pollution, premium pricing, droves of tourists from Germany to America to Zimbabwe, flocking like the bloody pigeons in Trafalgar to gawk at you on your way to work. I could go on. But for me, all of those take a backseat to the underground. Yes, that bloated network of clogged veins that tangle underneath the skin of our beautiful tourist city. It's not even the trains themselves. In all honesty, it's the people, and the sense of silent paranoia like a fart nobody wishes to admit to. On the underground, everyone is a terrorist, a rapist, or a serial murderer, or some combination of the three, and thus, nobody speaks to anybody. I do my 9 to 5 in an office cubicle, with dividers 6 feet high, and all my coworkers are probably a good 5'10". Just a moment. I get in the mornings, and 100 unanswered cold calls later, and I feel like I'm an inmate doing solitary confinement, but I haven't eaten nearly enough babies to qualify. By the time I'm out in the evenings, as free as a clipped-winged bird, I'm just begging for someone to talk to me like a human being. But instead, I'm swallowed up by the silence of the underground. That was until last week. I found a new reason to hate the underground, but I no longer take the beauty of the silent, crowded tube trains for granted. Now I flinch if someone as so much as opens their mouth in my vicinity. I take the Piccadilly line from Kingsbridge to Russell on a nightly basis, so letting the tides of people carry me down the train car like a jellyfish, holding on to something that won't move until my stop is announced feels almost like a reflex, like blinking or breathing. But last week, the entire Kingsbridge station was a ghost town, just the occasional pockets of whispering people, meters apart from each other. Normally the silence I so despised was the result of rudeness, and not just a lack of people to talk to. After facing the headlong, oily wind of the tube tunnels and making my way down the right line, noticing the eerie quiet that hangs heavy in the air, when the normal busker seems to be taking the night off, I found myself facing an utterly empty platform. No word of a lie. I felt like I was Robert Neville in the empty world, and in the empty world that Richard Matheson gave him. I took a seat on one of those uncomfortable iron benches they lay out for you, the ones that look like cheese graters with armrests, and I was waiting for the 10 p.m. train to come lurching down the track, hemorrhaging passengers from every door and window. But again, I was wrong. Something was awfully amiss. Eventually, the train turned up, as empty as I'd ever seen it before in my 32 years of living here. I got up with little more than a trepidation when the doors opened, and upon stepping in and seeing rows of empty seats, with about 1 or 2 passengers as far as the eye can see, I elected to sit near the door. The garbled voice of the intercom told his audience of 3 what they already knew, and the train jolted forward down the tracks into the darkness of the first tunnel. I realized that if I wanted to have a casual chat on my tube journey home, I'd have to be the instigator of the conversation. So I cast my mental fishing line down the train to check out the potential applicants. About 20 feet to the left of me was a heavy-bearded man with a club jacket and a dirty-looking jumper, lolling over the side of his chair, snoring. A titty magazine open at his feet. Maybe not. 20 feet from the right was a woman in a nice-looking jacket with fancy jewelry, and a handbag that looked designer, reading something by Gillian Flynn. Gillian Flynn. I wonder if I slid over and struck up a conversation, I'd be the one to look like a creep. Disappointed, but with only myself to blame, I receded back into my seat and held my head in my hands. The one time the tube didn't feel like a sardine cannery, I was too much of a wimp to talk.
Emotional damage!
Welcome in. Not while I'm reading. Oh man. Anyway. Oh man. It's true. Yeah, this person's having a really hard time. Don't clip that. Thank you for the clip. We are reading Creepypastas. The next stop was South Kensington. I figure I may as well take advantage of the downtime and go to sleep, like the perv on the left. What baffled me most about him was the fact he'd actually brought a magazine. It's 2015, for God's sake. But while I was teasing on that weird, hazy period on the precipice of sleep, the entire train went dark. It wasn't uncommon for a light or two to fail while you're in transit, but for all of them to fail at once, that was a new one for me. Stranger still, in the relative silence of the train, I could very clearly hear this weird squelching sound, like nothing I'd ever heard before. In hindsight, I could really only describe it as someone sifting through a raw pile of meat. If you've ever heard such a thing, to make the comparison. The lights turned back on a few seconds later, and I breathed a sigh of mild relief. I've never liked the dark all that much. However, I noticed something had changed in my peripheral vision. I couldn't see the fat guy with the titty mag anymore, because two tall people with matching trench coats and hats were standing in front of him. I could only bet my life and my life savings on the fact that those guys weren't there before the lights went out. They turned around in unison from the perv, and I got a better look at them. What struck me first was that they both seemed so eerily similar, wearing matching trench coats and scarves that went all the way up their jawline, with neat pleated trousers, laceless loafers, matching leather gloves, and wide-brimmed hats. They looked like they'd just come out of some Nor-themed Christmas party. But asking them about it was hardly in my mind, as they drifted over almost weightlessly and sat across from me in silence. Their faces looked wrong, if that made sense. They weren't faces of people. They weren't faces people were meant to have. They weren't particularly horrific or anything. They almost had this almost gray complexion, like granite. They were smooth beyond belief. No wrinkles, no laugh lines, no moles, no freckles, no scars. Nothing that could separate them from being utterly basic templates of what a human face was supposed to look like. I never knew perfection could be so ugly. "You guys close shop at the same place, then?" I said jokingly, trying to break the ice. The blank-faced strangers remained silent. I noticed one was bigger than the other, perhaps a few inches taller, with broader shoulders. It made a world of difference when they're sitting across from you, staring daggers into you. Jesus, those eyes. Big, yellow fish eyes, like they had jaundice or hepatitis. "Sorry," I said awkwardly, just trying to ease the tension. It's been a long day. I noticed a smaller one was holding a duffel bag that clinked like glass on glass every time the train rumbled. The perv wasn't lolling over in the seat anymore. He was slumped forward uncomfortably, face to the ground. People don't sleep like that. The bigger one seemed to register that I had noticed. "Which stop do you belong to?" he said, slowly, mechanically, like English left a foul taste in his mouth. "Pardon? Which stop?" He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Is yours?" "Oh, Ruslip. It's a little ways to go." London had plenty of non-native English speakers from pretty much any country you can name, so meeting people who were still getting the swing of things was by no means an irregularity. But this guy, he didn't seem to have an accent. Any accent like a bad text-to-speech generator. His cadence and syntax were utterly undefined, a cluster bomb of weird, inappropriate pauses and incorrect pronunciation. How about you?" The big one seems to mull it over a little. "We are stopping at..." His eyes scanned the line map above my head. "Acton Town." "Oh, cool. Cool. Moderators, can you do me a favor and pause that ad for me, please, while I read? Thank you." The silence was crawling back. I didn't want to let it. This was my first semi-proper conversation on the tube. Even if it was with some incredibly strange people, I wasn't going to give that up. "So, do you guys work here, or are you tourists?" The little one cocked his head sideways, but remained silent. The big one did the talking. "We're students, here to learn. Here with a group." "Oh, do you go to UCL?" "No," he said without hesitation. "Then where do you go?" "If it's okay to ask." The corners of the big one's mouth lifted upwards. Even more generous man than me wouldn't call that a smile, but I could tell a smile is what he was going for. His mouth moved, but his eyes never changed. "A long way from here. I could tell you're not from around here." Suddenly, the little one, without ever moving his blank face, gave the impression of utter nervousness. He slid a slender hand between the buttons of his trench coat, as if to grab something. But the bigger one stopped him with a glare and turned back to me. "What do you mean by that?" he asked, his tone stern. I could feel a bead of sweat creeping down my temple. "I mean, I figured you weren't from London, from your accent," I said, almost tripping over myself in a rush to qualify what I meant. "I assumed you were from Canada or something like that." That was a lie, but it seemed like what they wanted to hear. The little one slid an empty hand out from his coat and settled back down into his seat. "Yes, Canada, or something like that. Is your friend okay? He's looking a little peaky." The little one jostled on his seat again and used one of his hands to steady his gently bobbing head. "He hasn't said anything." "He's fine. He doesn't speak," the big one said, seemingly as annoyed as his voice would permit him to be. "You ask lots of questions, don't you? Is this typical or atypical of others?" I shrugged, feeling a little hurt by his bluntness. We cannot speak if you like. I was just curious about why you're here. You seem like interesting guys, is all." The big one tried one of its fox grins again and asked in a more confident tone, "What's your name?" Russell Keene," I replied. Something about a question asked by one of these strange people demanded an answer, regardless of whether you wanted to give it. "We're here to obtain research samples, Russell Keene," he said, saying my name as one word, as if it were customary where they came from. "This place has such a bountiful collection of different specimens. It was the most effective place to get a realistic representation sample. Realistic representative sample. They took longer on larger words like bountiful and representative, sounding them out and putting the emphasis on all the wrong parts. Occasionally the train doors opened and closed, so nobody got off or on. "What samples are you collecting?" I asked, not entirely sure I wanted to know the answer. Without saying another word, the big one leaned over to his comrade and unzipped the duffel bag, and much to the little one's chagrin, the glass on glass clinking sound was a collection of jars with strange mechanical lids, where I could see some poorly defined red and pink masses floating in the dark and viscous fluid. The slender fingers of the big one grabbed a jar at random and held it out for me to look at. I want to believe my eyes were lying to me then, but I know what I saw. What looked horrendously similar to a human heart excuse me, was bobbing gently up and down in the black fluid, and I suppressed the sudden urge to heave. "All kinds of samples," the big one said in his mechanical drawl, placing the jar back into the bag and zipping it up. The silence came back and I welcomed it, not waiting to exchange another word with these awful things. I expected and hoped that this was some kind of elaborate prank for a TV show that I had not yet seen the advert for, but there were no cameras, or presenters emerging from the shadows to thank me for being such a good sport. We sat in silence until the train pulled into Acton Station, as the intercom told us so. The two men got up again in unison, and the little one shouldered the duffel bag carefully. The platform was empty, aside from a small group huddled near the exit, all wearing matching trench coats and wide-brimmed hats, just like the ones the two on the train were wearing. "Goodbye, Russell Keene," the big one said, catching me off guard. "Perhaps we will see you again the next time we visit, yes?" Without another word, the two walked out of the train and onto the platform, but the little one dropped something. It looked like a handkerchief floating down to the ground. Instinctively, I reached down and grabbed it to give it back to the man who dropped it, but the texture of the material stopped me. It was unnatural, like nothing I've ever felt before. I grabbed a corner of each hand to get a better look of what it was. But my entire body tensed up. I could scarcely move or breathe. In my hands I was holding a gray face, or rather the artificial skin of one, staring eyelessly back at me. My head jerked up to get one more look at the men who had just got off the train, and I saw the little one gazing at the face I was holding through the window. His little yellow eyes, now the only aspect of his face that was familiar to me, were buried in a strange black mask of something insect-like that moved and grasped and squealed and chittered like nothing of this earth. The train pulled away with those terrible eyes, boring into me until I could see nothing of them anymore. The rest of the journey back to Ruslip was long and silent. I sat there holding the face, feeling its smoothness, its alien texture. The woman was still buried in her novel, and the perv wasn't moving at all, not even snoring. I hadn't seen the two men or any of their friends since then. But the next time I saw the perv was on the news that night, found dead on the train, his heart surgically removed and his chest sewn up with equally surgical precision afterwards. Police don't know what to think, as no security cameras picked up any footage of people being anywhere near him during the power outage. I haven't really left the house since then either. And I've had a lot on my mind, a lot to think about. Like, who exactly were those people I was talking to on the train? Where did they come from, and when will they be back? Yes, I think about that a lot of these days. And that was, they moved through the trains. Good guess, by the way. I didn't want to spoil it for you, but good guess. Oh! Oh, the hydrate was redeemed. Thank you. Let me hydrate right now. Ah, that's delicious. Oh my god. Oh. Ah. Did you enjoy that story? I certainly did. Ah, what a good story. Also, thank you for the hydrate redeem. I don't know who did that, so let me sit back down. Sorry about that. Today has been a relatively quiet night, hasn't it? That one was a good classic weird creepypasta. Yes, it was. I think for next Creepypasta Day, we are definitely going to be reading Jane the Killer. Let's say, if, you know what, let's make it a thing, right? We can make it a thing. If Twitch gets to 500, I will read Jeff, Jane, and any other variants of Jeff the Killer for stream. I think that would be fun. Are you enjoying our little train ride? That would be a killer stream. Killer. Oh, posture check? Sure. Thank you for the stretch. Oh. Good after the reading marathon, you know? Thank you for the stretch. It's really refreshing too. Oh. But, as I said, today is going to be one of the shorter streams, so we only got like, maybe I'd say like 30 more minutes, until, I need to go lay down because I'm old and, time is catching up with me. And by time, it means I haven't had a good source of poet's blood in a really long time, so that means I'm going to be tired for a while. If you know any Shakespearean poets that are willing to, I don't know, donate to a lovely girl such as myself, send them my way. They have to be Shakespearean, though. I don't know, maybe a Rococo poet would do. I don't know, they're a little spicy for me. I guess an 80s rapper could also work. Technically they're poets too, right? Like modern day poetry. Oh, needless to say, I hope you all are having an amazing Friday evening, and that you're feeling fine as you're drifting off to dreamland with me. It's gotta have substance, no fluff stuff. Well, yeah, but sometimes, the more flowery language, it's pretty good. Like, a cultist has kind of this weird, pitchy taste to their blood. Especially if they've done, like, sacrifices. Not good. It leaves this kind of black tar in your tongue. You just kind of, afterwards. Just, Passion equates to the flavor and spicing of the dish. Not Flavor Town, no. It tastes like you have grease on your tongue. And not like good grease. It's just like, Sides point. It depends. Like, there could be a skilled, very skilled, let's say, tea maker. He could be very, very skilled, very, very passionate about his work. But it's also the things that you do with that passion, right? If you do good deeds, if you are a generally good person, I think, like, your blood kind of has, like, this nice taste to it. However, if you are an evil person, if you are a bad person, like if you murder someone, let's say that he was a very famous tea person, and he chopped people up and made them into tea. That person's blood would be vile, putrid, gross, because it's kind of like all of those bad things that you've done. It makes the blood sour. However, let's say you're a bit of a vigilante. You make tea some days and you kill people. Bad people. But you're still killing people. And, to their families, you're considered a bad guy, right? So, that person's blood would be delicious because it's a nice mixture of, sweet and like sour. It's good stuff. Can't get enough of it. But so live a full life, live richly, live freely. Do not kill people. Do not kill people, but live freely. Live to the best of your ability. Live. So this way your blood can be decadent and wonderful. Murder is bad. Do not kill anyone. There are other ways to make your blood taste good. No, meddling in the dark arts is not another way to make your blood taste better. Just be passionate in what you do, and that is enough. Tragic backstories aren't the only flavor enhancer. Exactly. Tragic backstories are not the only flavor enhancer. Do not become a villain to be a hero in my story. Or rather, to be a hero in my belly. Do not eat pineapple. The pineapple. What? Oh, that's right. So hold on, I've seen this meme. Oh my goodness. You know what time it is. No, you wouldn't dare. Anyway. So, there is a meme going around where, of course you did. I'm not surprised. But, there's a meme going around where, the person covers themselves in garlic butter except for their phallus, right? And they're like, they face the vampire lady. And I just want to point out to you, right, that it may work a little differently than you propose. Right? Remember that your body, your blood, if you will, is being held in there by your skin. So if I flay you alive, excuse me, let me get a little closer here. If I flay you alive and, remove that troublesome garlic skin that you have on you and get to the delicious blood feeling, then maybe we wouldn't have had to go through this entire debacle of you covering yourself in garlic butter. I could also remove that part of you and, just kind of cut upwards. I think that would be fun. Just putting that out there. Just saying. But I'd never do that to any of you. You guys are too nice. The sketch throws out chicken skins. Literally, all you have to do is just remove that particular part and just run your finger up all the way up to the chin and just yank forward. It's nothing that, nothing a fledgling can't do. Much less myself. Like, do you even know how powerful a vampire can be? Like, it's pretty ridiculous, especially a fledgling. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you another tale. Well, Arthur Morgan on a bunny rabbit. In a way, as you grow older as a vampire, right? As you get a little older, a little wiser, you start to realize that your strength, you start to realize some of your strengths, right? You realize, I'm better at this than the other vampires, if you will. For me, it was my nose. And it was my sight. I have another one, but this isn't the place for it. But overall, vampires tend to be a lot faster and a lot stronger than most of our human counterparts. So, what we do is we can, let's just say, a finger, right? We could take our let's say our index finger, right? Index, right? And we can stick it inside of your cheek, as if I was sticking my finger in a marshmallow. That is the amount of force I would have to put. Yes, it is very hard to hold grapes. Yes, it is very... I have to hold them between my nails. Excuse me, no. When I was a fledgling, it was very hard to hold grapes. Now, it's quite easy. As you can see, I'm holding this little teacup. It's rather fragile. But before... oh my goodness. Which is why, when you sire a fledgling, you need to teach... When you sire a fledgling, you need to teach them how to... Oh, you want head rubs? Sure. But when you sire a fledgling, you need to teach them how to take care of themselves and how to be careful. Oh, we get the head rubs. Oh, did you want to give me head rubs? I'm not sure how that's possible, considering I'm in a train, but, oops. But I just push the buttons, go bear. No problem. But that's why it's very important for sires to teach fledglings restraint, and for a sire to be present in their young fledgling's life. Because if they're not present, you could get points where the fledgling will become really upset and, crush a doorknob or, destroy wine glasses on repeat. I remember when I was learning, because I did not have a sire, I remember when I was learning how to hold a pen again, and I kept breaking it in half, and I kept breaking it and breaking it and breaking it, and eventually I had this pile of broken pens. So every time I would break one, I would just pick up one of the broken ones and I would try again, until I got to the point where I was able to write again with a pencil and a pen, and eventually I graduated to glass pens. It was very nice. I will say that sometimes, when it comes to emotional stress, I will lose my temper a little bit, but I would never hurt anyone, ever. I don't think that's me. Sounds like your average Orange County teen. Well, I've never been to Orange County. Sounds like I need another candle. Regional wealth demographics comedy, breaking wine glass. Regional wealth demographics comedy, breaking wine glass. Oh, I guess that's fair. Anyway, I think we should read our last story for the evening, and then we'll find someone comfy and cozy to raid. Shall we? I live in the UK. A colleague at work heard this from her boyfriend. He works with someone who said his sister got the last 2 subway train home a couple weeks ago. When she got on, there were about 5 rows of empty seats. But the last row had 3 people sitting in it. As she was a little shy, she went and sat opposite them. She settled down and looked up to see the woman sitting opposite, staring right at her. She got out her book and started to read, but every time she looked up, the woman was still staring. The train pulled into the next station, and a man got on. He looked up and down the carriage, took a look at her and the people in the opposite seats, and sat next to her. As the train left the station, the man leaned back and said quietly in her ear,
If you know what's good for you, you'll get off at the next station with me.
She was scared, but thought the best idea would be to get off at the next station as he asked, as there might be people around. The next stop comes up, and she leaves the train with this man. The man says, Thank God. I didn't mean to scare you, but I had to get you off the train. I'm a doctor. And the woman sitting opposite you was dead. The 2 men on either side of her were propping her up. According to the guy who told this story, the girl and the doctor called the police, who stopped the train at the next station. There is an alternate story version here, but this was originally uploaded on August 9th, 2010, under the title The Girl on the Train. A train doctor! Ooh. Yeah, a train doctor. Okay. I know today was short, but don't worry, I'll have an extra special surprise for you all tomorrow. Are you excited for tomorrow's surprise? I'll give you a hint. No, I won't. I'm not going to give you a hint. I'm not going to give you a hint. I want it to be a really big surprise. Let's see who we can find. Let's see. Let's go ahead and go bother Luna. Yeah, I have no idea what the heck she's doing. It looks like she's playing Little Nightmares. Let's go be a nightmare for her. Seems like fun, huh? Okay, you guys are already ready. Let me start the raid. Oh. And thank you all for coming today. I am so pleased to have you all. And of course, let me go to my ending screen. What a lovely stream today. Hopefully you guys will be looking forward to your surprise later. be good, and let's go.